A man and two women were enjoying a high-temperature sauna. The woman who couldn't bear it wanted to go out to take a breath, but found that the door seemed to be stuck. The man hurried over to help and pushed a few times, but it had no effect at all. The temperature in the room is as high as 100 degrees. If they were trapped here, several people would definitely die of dehydration. The man tried to increase his strength and hit the wooden door with his whole body, but no matter how hard he tried, the strong wooden door showed no sign of being opened. The woman thought it was her boyfriend's prank and frantically slapped the wooden door and called her boyfriend's name. However, the sauna must be very soundproof in order to maintain heat. Both of them shouted that they were tired, and there was no response from outside. The man had to let her calm down and replenish water to prevent her body from being overly dehydrated. He would definitely be able to save them. As the boiler continued to heat up, the temperature in the sauna became higher and higher. If they continued to stay in it, they would definitely faint from heat stroke. At this time, the homeowner is still preparing for the fireworks show and will not be back in a short time. Suddenly they discovered that there was a self-regulating thermometer hidden under the thermometer. However, there was no switch on it and it was only used to sense the indoor temperature. When the temperature in the room drops below the set point, the boiler is controlled to start heating. The man analyzed that the real switch must be installed outside the house. At this time, the boiler started to heat up again. The woman who couldn't bear it picked up a wooden spoon and knocked frantically on the small window on the wooden door. I tried to break the glass and call for help, but it was still in vain. The man got inspiration when he looked at the stones in the boiler. He used a wooden spoon to break apart the iron wire, hook out a stone, poured all the water into the wooden barrel, cooled the hot stone, and then used the cooled stone to knock on the small window. But this was obviously not ordinary glass, and he could only leave shallow marks after hitting it with all his strength. After half an hour of constant beating, the man's hands were scratched with blood by the stones, but the small window in front of them was their only hope for survival. He could only endure the severe pain and continue to beat hard. At the last moment when his strength was exhausted, he finally broke the glass. The woman immediately pushed her away and breathed in the cool air greedily. The few people who gained some solidarity began to shout their boyfriend's name loudly, hoping that he would come and then go out on their own. But the boyfriend was so drunk that he fell asleep and couldn't hear the shouting at all. The man discovered that the door was blocked by a fallen ladder, so it was not a prank by his boyfriend. Which means no one knows they're trapped. Although the inflow of fresh air has improved their situation a little. But the man soon realized the problem. The thermostat had been working and when it sensed the temperature in the room dropped, it would control the boiler to heat it again. If the window is damaged and the set temperature is never reached, the boiler will continue to run and the room will become a convection oven. They had to find a way out as soon as possible. The man wrapped the stone in a towel and stretched it out the window, trying to hook the ladder to move it away, but the stone could not hang on the ladder at all. This method also doesn't work at all. The woman tries to destroy the thermostat but is dissuaded by the man. Because without the control of the thermostat, it is very likely that the boiler will speed up, but the woman does not want to sit still and wait for death. Her best friend advised her not to act blindly. For them, buying as much time as possible and waiting may be the safest way. Just when the two were arguing, the man looked at the light bulbs on the roof and had a new idea. He wanted to create a short circuit to cut off the power in the room, which might stop the boiler switch. Carefully unscrew the bulb, then wrap a towel around a wooden spoon, wet it, and slowly tuck it into the base. The momentary short circuit produced a violent spark, and the man was almost stunned. The room fell into darkness, but the boiler was still working. It was not connected to the same circuit as the light bulb. Soon after, several people were about to fall into coma. Suddenly, the homeowner's hunting dog noticed something unusual inside and started barking crazily at the door. They immediately slapped the wall to get the hound's attention. The barking of the hound finally attracted her boyfriend, but fireworks happened to be set off outside, and the sound of explosions masked several people's cries for help. The hound darted towards the homeowner and began barking at him. Although the homeowner didn't understand what he meant, he decided to follow the hound back to check. As soon as they returned to the house, the hound signaled the homeowner to go to the sauna, but happened to meet her boyfriend who came out. He thought that his friends had left him to attend the party, and the homeowner didn't think much of it, thinking that the hound was frightened by the fireworks, and several people missed the chance to be rescued. By this time they were so dehydrated that everyone in the barrel had been drunk. The irrational woman wanted to break the thermostat, and when her best friend tried to persuade her to stop, she attacked her best friend's inner scars. The angry best friend accidentally knocked the woman unconscious. When she saw the woman lying on the ground, the best friend thought she had killed her. The best friend Gue, who was completely broken, also fell into madness and smashed the thermostat desperately. But the moment the thermostat was destroyed, the boiler immediately started running at full speed. Seeing that there was no hope of survival, the man also started laughing crazily. Suddenly he rushed towards the boiler and shook him hard. He didn't even feel the pain and hugged the boiler directly to try to stop it. The violent shaking caused the gas pipe to rupture. The leaked gas met the flame and caused a violent explosion. The strong shockwave shook the door open. Unfortunately, the man died in the explosion. My best friend came to the living room in a panic, picked up the mineral water in the refrigerator and frantically rehydrated. When he returned to the bedroom, he began to cry because the dead woman was lying in front of him. Suddenly he woke up from his coma, and it turned out that he had just hallucinated after being knocked unconscious. At this time, the unconscious woman also woke up. Her best friend tried her best to drag her to the window so that she could breathe fresh air, and then used a towel to take away the hot stones. He found a broken wooden spoon and blocked the gas pipe. After doing all this, he fell into a coma. When the homeowner came back, he saw the dying woman in the sauna and immediately called the police to rescue them. Although the two women were eventually rescued, the man remained inside forever. At this time, the boyfriend regretted it because he was drunk and accidentally knocked down the ladder, which happened to block the door. But now it's too late to regret it. Because of his mistake, his friend lost his life forever.